friends, welcome. It's exactly 12 noon, Kiev time. Main events in Ukraine and around the world. And most importantly, at this hour in the studio, working for you is Layla Mammadova. Over 1,500 attack drones, more than 1,200 guided aerial bombs, and about 50 missiles of various types were used by Russia against Ukraine over the course of a week. This was stated by the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. According to him, thousands of foreign components from Europe, the USA, China, Japan, and a dozen other countries have been found in this weaponry. Zelensky emphasized, Russia must feel the consequences of its actions. It is necessary to provide sufficient resistance to force it to peace.
Strong sanctions are a tool that can help stop this. All possible supply routes and ways to bypass sanctions must be blocked, and pressure must be put on countries and individual companies that help them. Our partners have this power, the power that should protect life. We expect that the 19th package of EU sanctions will be truly painful, and that the United States will join the Europeans. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, in a telegram.
Explosions in temporarily occupied Crimea. Ukrainian intelligence struck Russian military positions. 3 Mi-8 helicopters were destroyed, and a Nebo-U radio location station was put out of commission. This radar is considered one of the most expensive in Russia's arsenal. This was reported by the main intelligence directorate of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. They stated that Ukrainian forces continue to strike the enemy's military infrastructure. They also added that the fight to liberate the temporarily occupied territories is ongoing. Partisans from the Atesh movement blew up railway tracks in Russia's Smolensk region that lead to an aircraft factory. According to agents of the movement, this factory produces Kh-59 missiles for the Russian Federation's Ministry of Defense. As a result of their actions, the enterprise's logistics have been disrupted. The factory produces missiles, UAVs, and other equipment. Atesh stated that this factory is a strategic target and warned that they will continue to strike similar facilities. The partisans emphasized that defense industry enterprises are not protected and production disruptions will continue to increase. Security guarantees for Ukraine mean that European countries are prepared for military confrontation with Russia if Moscow attacks Ukraine again after a peace agreement is reached. This was stated by Finnish President Alexander Stubb in an interview with The Guardian. According to him, these guarantees will only come into effect after an agreement between Ukraine and Russia, and they should serve as a powerful deterrent. At the same time, Russia will not have the right to veto their format.
Security guarantees are essentially a deterrent. This deterrent must be credible, and in order to be credible, it must be strong. Russia has absolutely no say in the sovereign decisions of an independent state. So for me, it's not a question of whether Russia will agree or not. Of course, they won't agree. But that's not the main point. This war is too significant for him, Putin, to lose it. He has probably made the biggest strategic mistake in recent history, certainly since the end of the Cold War. And he has failed in all his strategic objectives. It's a matter of when he will sit down at the negotiating table. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But right now, I'm rather pessimistic. Alexander Stubb, President of Finland, in an interview with The Guardian.
NATO must respond militarily to violations by Russia. This was stated by Czech President Petr Pavel in an interview with Czech television. He was referring to the incident in Estonia when Russian MiGs violated the country's airspace, as well as the drone strike by the Russian Federation on Poland. Petr Pavel believes that tough action is needed, specifically to shoot down Russian aircraft that violate airspace.
What has happened in recent days in Poland and Estonia, and what has been happening in Ukraine for 4 years, concerns all of us, because if we do not remain united, sooner or later it will happen to us as well. This is a significant escalation in European security, for which Putin is clearly responsible. A violation of airspace is grounds for activating defense mechanisms, namely, shooting down such an aircraft. Right now, we need to act firmly, and if violations occur, we must respond accordingly, including by military means. Russia will very quickly realize that it has made a mistake and crossed the line of what is permissible. Unfortunately, this is a balancing act on the brink of conflict, but it is simply impossible to give in to evil. Petr Pavel, president of the Czech Republic, in an interview with Czech television.
Estonia is ready to shoot down Russian MiGs. This was stated by Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur. According to him, the increasing provocations by Russia against NATO countries are part of a strategy. Its goal is to make Western countries understand that their interest lies in their own defense, not in helping Ukraine. He is convinced Russia wants Europeans to stop helping Ukraine and focus on their own problems. Pevkur stated, if it becomes necessary to take extreme measures, that is, to use force, they are prepared for that as well. Estonia is capable of defending its airspace together with its allies, the minister emphasized. Let me remind you, the day before, 3 Russian MiG-31 fighter jets entered Estonian airspace and remained there for 12 minutes, almost reaching the Estonian capital, Tallinn. NATO F-35s took off to intercept them, after which the intruders left the country's airspace. Meanwhile, the Czech Republic is strengthening its defenses against drones. The decision was made against the backdrop of provocations involving Russian drones over Poland. A special coordination group will be created in the country. This was announced by Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala. Representatives from the Defense Ministry, the Interior Ministry, the Transport Ministry, the Army, and the police will monitor threats and develop protective measures. The main goal is to protect Czech territory from drone attacks. Fiala emphasized that drones have become a key weapon in the war in Ukraine.
We must respond to the danger posed by Russian drones. This is another step toward ensuring the maximum safety of our citizens. In this way, we are strengthening the protection of our country against new threats that we are witnessing in our immediate vicinity. Petr Fiala, Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, from a statement to Radio Prague International.
British fighter jets have begun patrolling the skies over Poland. They are participating in a NATO mission called Eastern Shield, which is aimed at strengthening the alliance's defense. The reason for this was the incursion of Russian drones into Polish airspace, according to Reuters. 2 Eurofighter jets patrolled the Polish skies and monitored for possible threats from the east. The main goal is to protect NATO airspace from Russian drones. UK Defense Secretary John Healey stated that the skies of NATO countries will be reliably protected. They provide covering fire for Ukrainian infantry and assault troops, destroying temporary fortifications and Russian equipment near the border of Sumy region. These are the tasks of the tank crews from the 225th Separate Assault Regiment, which is involved in containing and eliminating Russian occupiers in the Sumy direction. Our correspondent, Oleksiy Baranovsky, visited the positions of the Ukrainian tank crews. This is how the tanks of the 225th Separate Assault Regiment strike at Russian occupiers in the Sumy region. Speed and maneuverability. That's the essence of tank tactics under the constant threat of drones. The principle is to appear in a place unexpected by the enemy, strike, and quickly pull back.
Operating a tank isn't like artillery. It's not like that. The shot and the impact happen at the same moment. The enemy doesn't even have time to realize there's been a shot before the shell hits them. War teaches you everything. You just react to the situation as it unfolds. This tank crew from the 225th Regiment knows firsthand about the danger of Russian strike UAVs. However, even a direct hit from an FPV drone didn't put the vehicle out of action. Only the outer barrel casing was damaged. It didn't break it, but it would be good to replace it.
The T-72E tank has significant firepower. The vehicle is equipped with a cannon and 2 machine guns.
Our gun is 120 millimeters. The tank gun, fires 3 types of shells. There are high explosive fragmentation shells, armor-piercing, and shape-charged shells. 3 types of shells that we use in combat operations.
Ready to fire. Fire. There are 2 PKT machine guns installed. The 7.62 is mounted next to the barrel. Here it is, right here. Sometimes we cover it so it doesn't get dirty. And from this position, it fires. There's also a second machine gun, The NSVT Nikitin Sokolov Volkov tank machine gun, caliber 12.7. It's mounted on the commander's turret for low-flying targets, helicopters, planes, and so on.
Keeping the tank in working condition is the responsibility of the driver mechanic. The soldier with the call sign Mali is just over 20 years old. He's been in the army since he came of age.
I used to drive, small cars, then I moved on to KAMAZ trucks and so on. Then I decided to try tanks. The power, you can really feel it driving. Nothing complicated, 2 levers, 3 pedals. Check fuel and oil, top everything up, tighten tracks, and put armor on the tank. We usually don't mess with the engine. That's something the repair guys can handle. Other than that, the machine is always ready to go.
The 225th Separate Assault Regiment continues to push Russian units out of the Sumy region. Thanks to the efforts of Ukrainian defenders, the Russian army's plans to advance on the city of Sumy were completely thwarted in the region. Alexei Baranovsky from the Sumy region, reporting for Freedom TV channel.
Subscribe to The Gaze and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.